Have you ever found yourself copying and pasting the exact same instructions in AI over and over again, or even reusing the exact same prompts just to get a text output? Well, this AI tool right here will solve it. So Claude just introduced Claude Skills, which helps with repetitive tasks and the problem of reusing the exact same chats and exact same prompts. So basically, I'm going to show you what Claude Skills are, why they're a game changer for businesses, and we're going to build one from scratch in a matter of minutes. So why does this matter? This matters because this is now the simplest way you can train AI to do your work for you from prompting it via just a chat. So let's go through how it works. Skills are custom training modules you create for Claude. It's like packaging up your instructions, brand guidelines, and workflows all into a reusable file. Claude automatically loads the right skill when it's relevant. You don't have to ask it or remind it every time. It works with 3 easy steps. First, you're going to want to create a folder with your skill MD file containing your instructions. These are the instructions that the AI will follow every time. Think of it as like a standard operating procedure, but for the agent. Then you're going to upload that folder into the Claude Skills section in the settings, and then Claude will automatically use it when relevant when you're chatting with it, even throughout the chats. You don't need to call it each time. It will automatically pull it in. Once you create it once, you can use it everywhere. This is like the custom ChatGPTs by ChatGPT, but this one so far has proved itself more useful. You can plug it into web apps, APIs, and Claude Code. So basically, why does this simplify everything? Well, just like AI tends to do, this saves time. So you don't have to repeat the same instructions or the same prompt every time. You stay more consistent because every output will be to your standards and you don't have to repaste the exact same prompt with small little tweaks. It will automatically pick up those tweaks for you and apply it to whatever you're working on. And this will also help you scale fast. So basically, once you train this AI once, you can use it everywhere like we mentioned. So where is this powerful? Some areas you could use this, in real estate, you could create property listings and market analysis reports. Service businesses, you could generate proposals, quotes, and project documents. It also plugs into your Google Drive, which is pretty cool. So you should be able to automatically store it in there. Content creators could build video script formats and content templates. And sales teams could create pitch decks and presentations, in a matter of seconds. So these are just some elementary areas and just some examples, but it could obviously apply to pretty much any area of your business. What I'd like to start saying is if you do something more than once, that's a skill opportunity. So if you want it done consistently your way every single time, you make a skill out of it. So let's dive into actually making a skill. So this is pretty simple. Think of an area you are doing the same task over and over again, or using an AI chat constantly until it becomes too big to be able to process your request. So let's just say, for example, you run a marketing agency and you need to create pitch decks often. Those pitch decks pretty much all follow the same structure, which is along the lines of something like an introduction slide where you introduce yourself and the prospect, a situation slide, which is maybe the situation the prospect is currently in. Maybe they're experienced positive customer experiences but can't reach enough people. They're a mom and pop shop selling the best cookies in San Diego. I don't know. The challenge prospect is facing. Maybe you have a solution slide, so like the solution you propose. Deliverables, painting the picture of where they'll be and what they'll receive, and then the price. The price you'll charge the prospect and what they will get for you or from you for that price. So, this is just a very elementary example, just for the sake of the video. So we're going to run through and we're going to create a task that creates our pitch decks for us, following, the similar structure. And we're going to be able to tailor it to each specific pitch deck that we need to create for like a specific prospect. So it starts with the prompt. The cool thing is we can prompt Claude to create this entire file for us. To do so, and I should have pointed this out earlier, but you need to be on a paid plan for Claude, which is about $20 a month. Super worth it. I really like Claude, especially for writing code and test creations like these. So what we're going to want to do is go into settings. So find your icon, settings. And there's multiple ways to do it. This is just the easiest way I found. Go to capabilities and scroll down until you see this skills. So this skills right here, I believe you may need to enable one of these things. It might be code execution and file creation, this right here. But pretty much scroll down. This is where you can see some like the skills that you've created and some of the ones that is already created for you. So let's go ahead and enable skill creator. You don't need to do this. it will still create the skill for you if you don't have this enabled, but I haven't tried this yet. So I heard this one's pretty good at helping kind of create the skills just because Claude knows exactly what it needs. So let's go ahead and enable this and go back to the chat. So we're going to have Claude create the entire file for us. We just enabled that Claude Skills creator skill. You don't necessarily even need to do this. You could still ask it to create the skill for you without enabling that. It's still going to give you your skill MD file because, I've created a few skills without enabling that. I just want to try it because, it might be better. But say you don't have the pro plan yet and you just want to see if it's able to create it, you could still go ahead and do that. But you do need the pro plan to be able to use these skills. So let's go ahead and get our prompt in here. So I have a prompt that is, super elementary for this that we're going to go ahead and use, and I'll paste it in the description below. But basically, it's along the lines of this. So I am trying to create a skill for a recurring task. I often do. I run a marketing agency and often need to create pitch decks for the prospects. So basically what I'm trying to do, so this right here is going to call the skill and basically kind of some background. So I run a marketing agency, and what I need to do, I often create pitch decks for prospects. And these pitch decks all follow the same structure. Obviously, I can't spell today. So just like we talked about, the introduction slide where you introduce yourself and the prospect, situation slide, challenge, solution, deliverables, price. So basically, I have the slides that I want, as well as some notes with what goes in each slide. So you could be a lot more descriptive and detailed in this. Again, this is just a very high level example of what it could look like. So if you're following along, I would just recommend maybe adding a little bit more detail. But if you don't, you could always go back in and edit it later. So it's just about creating a starting point. So once we have some details on the slides, I added a note. So I want this to be more on the visual side. I also want my logo to be subtle in the corner of every slide. I attached it. So let's go through and attached my logo. So I went through and attached my logo, follow my brand colors, try to keep the slides more on the concise side, not slide, so I can talk through these easily. So, some very high level instructions for it and some background and, description on the slides I want created. So now let's see what we can get. So what you'll notice is it's going through and it's going to help us create the skill, and it's going to basically read all the instructions and any sort of files that we attach, just like AI would, and then it's going to create that skill MD file. So once this is done, let's kind of come back and review it. Okay, so it looks like it just finished, and it said your pitch deck creator skill is ready. It's created the comprehensive skill. So basically, here's the package, and this is like some of the code that it produces. So all you have to do is press view your skill, and this should give you I believe a zip file. But when you press this, so maybe that's what's showing me right here. I'd rather download this. So download, and it gives me a file. What's included kind of gives me more about it and how to use it. So what we need to make sure we do is actually download the MD file. So we want to make sure we download this, and you're going to see this is the usage guide. I'm not necessarily sure what this is. So let's go ahead and look. Usage guide. I believe that's just how to use the skill. So honestly, don't really need to use that. So the most important thing is this pitch deck creator. So that skill file that we already downloaded. So if you kind of see, it also gives you instructions on how to use it. So it's just like saying create a pitch deck for client name, and then you provide some details that you want to go on the slide, and it will completely do it. So let's go ahead and upload the skill. To do so, you're going to want to go back to settings after you download the file, settings, and go to capabilities, and then skills. So this should be enabled. If not, you just might need to enable one of these things. Again, you need the pro plan, and go to upload skill, and then upload your skill into here. Okay, so it looks like the skill uploaded successfully, and it is this one right here. So the pitch deck creator. So now let's go ahead and see how well this works. So new chat, create a pitch deck for, let's say we're working with a bakery, Nana's Bakery in San Diego. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this kind of like a sample prompt. Create a pitch deck for Nana's Bakery in San Diego. This bakery is experiencing foot traffic, but has nothing to draw people in the store from social media. They're in San Diego and produce the best cookies, but no one knows them outside of the neighborhood. We can work with them on getting their social following up to 1K followers in 4 months, which in turn would drive up their traffic significantly. They would increase sales and build a strong reputation. We would build them social media accounts, et cetera, et cetera. We would charge this client $2,000 a month and 10% sales over the next 6 months. So again, very elementary example, but I'm calling in the skill. So just by saying create pitch deck, this calls in that skill that we just created. So let's go ahead and press send and just kind of see what happens. So you'll notice it's creating the professional pitch deck based on the agency structure, and it's starting by reading the pitch deck skill to make sure it follows the proper format and style. So that's exactly what we wanted it to do, is call in that skill file that we just created and basically create what we need based on that. So what we can see is it's going through and creating this slide based on our instructions, this PowerPoint, and you can see it's going slide by slide. And it's focusing on the specific instructions that we provided, and it's creating this entire PowerPoint for us, this entire pitch deck. So let's go ahead and kind of see once it's a finished result, but you can see that in the background, like the entire thing that's going on, like you're not the one that needs to create this anymore. You only get instructions from AI to create it. It's actually doing it for you. Okay, once it's done, it's going to look something along the lines of this. So you can see it created this entire pitch deck for us based on the instructions. This is all right. I think it's like good enough for the very elementary prompt I gave it for the instructions. But it has that, introduction slide. It has the logo right here, which is where we want it. In the same place every slide, which is good. It has the situation, the opportunity gap. So like the challenge, the solution path. So, keeps it visual. Again, the visuals aren't necessarily amazing. There could definitely be some room for improvement. Basically what they'll receive and the investment. So, overall, this is a great starting point. You see that I prompted it in a matter of 2 minutes. It took me probably about 120 seconds to create the prompt for this. As you get more detailed and more instructions for this could be really good. But creating a pitch deck in the matter of minutes. So say you spend some time actually giving this some detail to exactly how you want it. You go in and you create these pitch decks in a matter of minutes. So rather than duplicating the same pitch deck and making like slight edits or, kind of trying to come up with something new every single time or recreating the same prompt, this did it for us in the matter of minutes. So super, super cool. And I do, let's just say I do like the result. I could go ahead and download this as, a file, or I could open it in my Google Drive, which is super powerful because it just stores it there. So definitely, pleased with the results. Hopefully with this video, you can see how beneficial Claude Skills really are. We're basically able to create an AI agent in the matter of, less than 10 minutes. The example we used was very elementary, but you can see how this could apply to pretty much any area of your business. You could automate pretty much anything by just creating a task for it and calling that task in a chat whenever you need it. Just providing a little bit of context, we were able to create an entire pitch deck in the matter of minutes. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you're looking to bring AI into any areas of your business, but you're not really sure where to start, check out smartwayai.io. It's in the description below. It's my company, and I work with tons of different businesses to bring AI, beyond simple tools just like this, but entire workflows, entire applications, whatever it may be in their business. So thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you next time.